Hello and welcome. I'm Bo Evans. I'm a reporter with CBS News Texas, and every day I travel around Dallas-Fort Worth telling stories that impact you. Now, recently I was able to follow a 6-year-old who knows exactly what he wants to do when he grows up. And I followed him and his family while the Fort Worth Police Department made everything possible to make his dreams a reality.
Bryson's focused, he's motivated, and he knows what he's looking for.
Down, 2, there you go, come on.
He's 6 right now, so he's got like 12 more years.
Not many 6-year-olds
like an emergency,
have Bryson's focus. He's just a little early to his party.
Unfortunately, he's not old enough to be a cop.
6 is a little too young to join the Fort Worth Police. But Bryson knows he wants to be a cop when he grows up.
He's been really into police officers and police, so I said, okay, Bryson, then I'll support you.
A few weeks ago, Bryson's mom took him to a Reading with a Cop event, and that's where he met Deputy Chief Buck Wheeler.
From that meeting, Bryson, we found out, wanted to be a former police officer.
Because his enthusiasm was so obvious,
Okay, one more time.
they invited the family to tour the station for a little hands-on fun.
He got to meet the chief. He got to do some training.
Go for his legs. There you go.
He got to meet a real SWAT officer.
Talk about a fun day. But for Wheeler and the rest of Fort Worth PD, it's about something a little more than that.
Those relationships that we create with the community, those relationships we create with our youth in the city, those are how we actually solve and fix those things that cause a lot of the problems.
Once they know you, they watch out for you, and of the community too.
Wheeler says building relationships like this one with Bryson and his family help cops do their jobs better and keep everyone safer.
These happen every day out in patrol. The officers that are out there working, the men and women doing that, there's interactions that folks will probably never hear about, but they're affecting those families and having those opportunities.
Just for the record, the Fort Worth PD is not recruiting 6-year-olds. However, they are looking for new and veteran officers. Now, let's go from Fort Worth all the way over to McKinney. That's where one little girl started a lemonade stand to try and raise money to build a playground in memory of a friend that had recently passed away. Well, she was rewarded with a total lemonade stand makeover. Let's take a look at that magical moment. Nothing says summer like lemonade.
Lemonade and Texas heat really go together.
And nothing defines being a kid more than having your own lemonade stand. That's what Farrah Ford thought she was doing today.
Video Team A is on their way to the lemonade stand.
But it turned into so much more.
Farrah's Totally Sunny lemonade stand is now open for business!
Thanks to a donation from Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Farrah's lemonade stand is getting a big upgrade.
It was such a great feeling to be part of the team that came in and surprised Farrah when we arrived today and showed her her new lemonade stand.
It's part of the company's Lemonade Stand Glow Up program. Farrah is the first kid to receive a new lemonade stand and lemonade smoothies to sell.
Farrah's mom submitted her story and told us about how she was raising money for a charity that is going to build a playground in memory of her friend who passed away.
Farrah's friend is 22-month-old Avie Hill, who was killed in a car crash in March of 2023.
She's our neighbor. Her name is Avie, and it's to raise funds for Avie Sunshine Tribe. She died in a car accident, so and the mom wanted to turn around, something negative and make it positive and happy.
Ginger Ford is Farrah's mom, and she wants to instill a commitment to giving back in her daughter.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of show her, how to give back to the community at an early age, because I like doing that too, so I'm glad we could do it together.
But giving so much when you've lost as much as Farrah and Ginger will melt your heart faster than iced lemonade in the Texas heat.
Her father actually just passed away too recently in February, so you know it hits hard. It's close to us. So, but it's understanding, you know, the death and then making something positive out of it.
But in this lemonade stand, where there's so much loss, all you see are smiles.
It definitely tugs on the heartstrings, but it also just feels really great.
This lemonade stand is a celebration of this sweet girl's life, and who wouldn't want to support something like that?
It just doesn't get any cuter than that. We're gonna take a look at a tutoring program, and trust me, it does not get any budget friendlier than this. Welcome back. Now, school's back in session, and if you are trying to get your kids a boost in the classroom, we found an educational tutoring program that is more affordable than you could dream of, and it will help them reach their educational goals. While summer is a time to relax for many kids, Miguel Lopez is laser focused.
I just stay focused on what I really want to do. I don't want to know what they think. I want to know what I think.
Not your average incoming freshman. In the fall, he'll be attending Bishop Lynch High School in Dallas on scholarship. He says he wouldn't be there without the help of his after-school tutoring program.
It has helped me a lot. After when I'm done homework, I'd also help some other kids when they're having questions they need to study for exams, quizzes, everything.
It's called study time.
And we really help guide them through the physical steps of applications for the private high schools, applications for the colleges, and we walk them through the financial aid steps.
Melanie Guerra runs the program for St. Vincent de Paul.
It's available for anybody in kinder through 8th graders. They have to get their own way to our different locations, and it's $5 a month per family.
Just $5 a month and available to everyone. Guerra says right now the program mostly serves Spanish-speaking families, and it's helping them achieve things they may have thought unthinkable.
Our kids are doing really well in those high schools, and then they come out college ready, and we have our first-time generation college students that are going on into college, and we'll soon be graduating our first rounds of students.
Miguel wants to be part of that growing legacy so he can give back.
It just got to my mind that when I grow up, I actually want to help people as well.
Going back to school, not just about learning, at least that's what I told my parents. And I was able to catch up with a mother and daughter who celebrated the new school year by getting some new and permanent jewelry.
Everything's better with bling.
And there's bling everywhere you look in Wildlife's Dallas studio. Today, Season Jacobs and her daughter Halo are getting new piercings.
Well, last year we got her first piercings because she was going into middle school. And so this is her last year in middle school.
I was really nervous, but I realized that it didn't hurt that bad.
She's getting ready to go to high school next year, so I'm sure we'll do it next year too.
It's something manager Shauna Athey says is more common than you think around this time of year.
But it is a really fun way to celebrate going back to school.
While Halo loves her new piece, she's 50-50 on going back to school.
Sometimes I'll be like, yay, I'm ready to go to school, but then other times I don't want to go no more.
We can all relate, Halo. But if you have to head back to school, better to do it with a little bling to match your mom and a memory to last a lifetime.
And how better to commemorate a memory than to get a piece of jewelry?
Up next, we're going to meet the school resource officer who is more than just a safety net for students. He's a mentor and a friend. Welcome back. Now, school resource officers are required across the state, but there's one SRO who is more than a man with a badge and a gun to some middle schoolers in Frisco. He's a friend and a mentor.
He is somewhat of a celebrity. I think they like him more than they like me sometimes.
He's just a go-getter.
I'm at Hunt Middle School in Frisco for one reason, to win an arm wrestling contest. SRO Dario Moreno isn't just a cop. He's a cool cop. Okay, corny Mean Girls reference aside, Officer Moreno is an important part of the Hunt Middle School family.
Our community, our students, and our staff feel so much safer with his presence on our campus.
I joined the SRO unit, and I've been an SRO for about 2 years, and it's been a very rewarding experience.
So I hear you have arm wrestling competitions with the kids, so I want to ask you a few questions while we arm wrestle.
Yep.
All right, so
Want to take it easy on you?
No, just try not to rip my arm out of my socket.
right.
What made you decide to become an SRO?
I really wanted to, I like helping out the community. I like doing events, especially I would partner up with our services department, and I would.
All right, that's one for you.
That's one.
At round 2.
You want to switch it up?
So we can go lefty.
All right, let's see what you got.
So how do you feel you keep the kids safer while they're here?
I get to know the kids. I find out the kids that this one's a little bit harder. Look at you.
I got my lefty. A little bit better.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time in the hallways. I get to know the kids that are here, find out what's going on with them. A lot of kids have older siblings. A lot of kids deal with stuff at home.
Are you ready? For Principal Victoria Williams, SRO Moreno is an asset. Look at that thing. Look at this. Look at this.
He is always in the hallways during passing periods. You can find him fist bumping kids, handing out stickers, handing out candy. You can find him in the cafeteria, either sitting down having lunch with students or talking to them or playing games with them.
I believe in you. You got this one.
Yeah, this one maybe. It'd be hard taking on a former SWAT officer, but we'll try. What are the biggest issues facing kids? How do you think it's different from like when you or I grew up?
I think kids, technology, it's wild. Like they have access to so much stuff. You made me work for that one.
I did. You know, I'm putting up the best fight I can.
Kids have so much access to technology, and like it's kind of scary. Like they see stuff, they might not fully understand stuff, and then they just kind of go with what they see. You know, like I've talked to kids. I was like, "Hey, dude, why did you do this? Why did you think this is a good idea?" I was like, "I don't know. I saw a YouTube video." I was like, "Really? Well, that's not good."
An officer that's coming into the school program has to have those special characteristics to be able to connect with the kids and educate and teach, but they also have to be able and willing and capable to go and protect those kids in the worst moments possible.
Lieutenant Justin Hawthorne runs the SRO unit for Frisco PD. They have one of the oldest partnerships between a police department and school district in Texas. They have nearly 40 officers in Frisco schools. I think threats of violence come from inside and outside of schools these days. We're seeing it more and more. Does that keep you up at night?
Now we have multiple SWAT operators that are in different schools. We also have containment guys that have additional training in schools. So like we have a really good set of officers in schools taking care of these kids. And I think that gives a lot of peace of mind.
Currently, guys that are on the SWAT team with me right now, we have 1 sergeant and 2 SROs that are assigned to schools.
Last year, state lawmakers passed HB 3, requiring every district to have armed personnel on every single campus.
They see his car, or they see him outside, or they see him as a presence in the hallways. That might stop some kids from, getting into some trouble because they see Officer Moreno in the hallways.
Last question, last arm wrestle. All right. What is the best school cafeteria lunch they serve here?
Oh, it's gonna be the steamed rice and teriyaki chicken. It's great.
All right, I might have to try it. I think that's 0 for 4 on the arm wrestling.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for swinging by.
That was close. It might not have been my best idea to arm wrestle a former member of the SWAT team, but it was a good idea to meet a man who's dedicated to his job, who's endeared himself to his community, and wants to keep people in his world safe. Sometimes when you think the world is full of bad guys, it's just nice to see an everyday superhero.
That was so close. It was so close, buddy. So close.
Coming up, G.I. Joe in Dallas, a convention built on one of the oldest action figures out there, and a special handmade Joe with some extra special meaning. "60 years ago, a new toy made his debut and G.I. Joe was born. Now, earlier this year, I spoke with a group of DFW G.I. Joe enthusiasts who told me this simple toy made a big impact on their lives.
Everybody remembers their first.
Oh man, I've probably been doing this for the last 30 some odd years.
Gosh, since I was a kid.
Since 1975.
I got my first G.I. Joe in 1969.
When I was 4 years old.
My grandmother gave it to me for a Christmas present. I still have it.
At the DFW G.I. Joe convention in Grapevine, everyone has a story about their first Joe, including Matt Stevenson.
So my first Joe was an 82 Breaker.
He's here as a vendor. He has to sell toys to fund his collection habit. But
depending upon the show, I probably spend as much as I sell.
The addiction has become a family affair.
Since I was, what, 4? 4? Maybe. So 24 years?
Matt and his son Nolan have traversed the country going to shows. Unfortunately, the father-son bonding comes with a side of marital strife.
Buying more stuff than we should, and then having to, well, now tell both of our wives and hide it from both of them, so it's getting harder to do that part of it, though.
Father-son collectors are a recurring theme at the convention.
I started collecting G.I. Joes when they first came out in 1964. My son was born in '84, and he began collecting them soon after.
Bob Welch is the president of the club. He fell in love with the Joes because they represent the military.
My dad served 35 years in the Army Reserves, which kind of led me into going into it. My son went into the military 2005 when I retired.
Bob's family has 4 generations of service, starting with his great-grandfather in World War I.
But we lost Rob in Afghanistan in 2011, so.
That loss left a void in Bob's soul he needed to fill.
Right after he got killed in Afghanistan, I was having a real hard time. And so one of the things I decided to do was to make a figure of him.
A real-life action figure for a real-life hero. Not something you see at any old toy show.
The DFW G.I. Joe Club meets once a month, and if you want to find out more, you just need to visit their website, dfwjoe.com. Coming up next, a little story about finding new friends at different stages in life and embracing that title of trouble. Sometimes making friends is hard, and it only gets harder as you get older, but I'm here to tell you it's never too late to make new friends, not even when you're in your 70s.
Don't let this group fool you. This isn't a friendly game of dominoes.
I protest that.
Keep your eye on these two in particular.
Watch out. Here we go. So, because she stays with me, she's in trouble. Because that's what I am.
Pam and Beth, the trouble queens of their 55-plus community.
You know, we got each other's back. If she needs something, I'm right there. If I need something, she's right there.
If you just met them, you'd think they'd been friends for their whole life. But their friendship is brand new.
I had lost my husband about 7 years ago, and I lived in a 4-bedroom home, pretty, you know, like a 3,500 square foot home. And for a while, I did not want to move at all.
7 months ago, she decided it was time to get out of a house that was too big for one.
It just seemed like I was getting more depressed. I didn't really do much except go to the grocery store.
That's when the two met, thanks to their puppies named Pepper.
First day I was here, I was out on my patio, so to speak, and I noticed this lady came out and she was holding her dog named Pepper.
One of us said Pepper.
And I asked her, I said, did you just call your dog Pepper?
And I'm going, why are you calling my dog?
And I said, well, my dog's Pepper.
I have a Pepper. She has a girl, I have a boy.
A pack of peppers and 2 new friends. Well, maybe 4. From that first day, the two have been inseparable.
Beth is very loyal. She will stick up for her friends.
Pam will laugh at all your jokes, no matter what they are.
Well, every time somebody's doing anything they need help, Beth is there. She's there to help.
She's just nice.
And everyone needs a soft shoulder to lean on when you're just plain sad.
We've been able to talk to each other, and she wants to cry, I'm there, and if I want to cry, she's always there. So.
But now, they both have each other and their peppers.
I recently was able to catch up with a group that makes special homes for veterans and first responders that suffer from catastrophic injuries. And I found out exactly how a new home can make a huge difference in their life.
We didn't completely fall apart, but we had a lot of dark days. And there was a lot of times where we didn't know how it would turn out.
It's a welcome fit for a hero as Staff Sergeant James Carey and his family make their way to their new home. 15 years after a tragic accident took his ability to walk and made seeing and speaking a struggle, Staff Sergeant Carey still knows how significant this day is.
This is a huge game changer for me.
The organization Tunnel to Towers is giving James and his family a mortgage-free, custom-built home.
The world isn't really made for people with disabilities.
James's mother, Kim, and the rest of his family have struggled alongside James since he nearly drowned during a training exercise at Camp Pendleton. While he escaped with his life, he was left with traumatic brain injuries affecting nearly every aspect of his life.
We got a phone call that James had had an accident. We didn't have much detail, but we got on a plane that day and went to the hospital, and we saw James there in the hospital in a coma. And, with all the tubes and wires, and you don't really know what to expect.
But the home the family is moving into is custom built for James. Wide doorways built for wheelchairs, an automatic sink, roll-in shower, and even a specially designed microwave.
We were just talking about on the way over here that this is like, the light at the end of the tunnel. We can't give James his eyesight back, and we can't give him his ability to walk again, but we can give him everything else that makes a guy happy. Thanks to this wonderful experience, it's just like the icing on the cake.
If you want to find out more about Tunnel to Towers or donate, you can visit their website, t2t.org. Coming up, a woman on the road to recovery shares her story of addiction and mental health. Did you know that there's a direct connection between addiction and your mental well-being? Mackenzie Blackadder is one of thousands dealing with substance abuse issues, but she's trying to use her story to help brighten the future for others.
I had attempted suicide and it did not work, so God told me if you can't die, then you might as well try to live. My name is Mackenzie Blackadder and I work for Nexus Recovery Center.
Mackenzie's journey started a long time ago.
I just started to party and hang out and drink, I guess like any high schooler. And then I met my ex, and I was in a very abusive relationship with him. And I took the substances to a new level.
She had to lose everything before she was ready to start her journey to recovery.
I finally got away from my abuser after I lost custody of my first son.
she came to Nexus Recovery Center in Dallas.
I was finally ready to seek help. I didn't even know, could kids come, could kids not come? And I typed in rehabs on Google, and Nexus was the first one that came up.
Not every rehab facility allows you to bring your kids, which can be a problem for single moms trying to get clean.
I didn't have anybody. My family is not here, and so I didn't have anyone to leave him to. I'm just so thankful that there was a place that I could bring my son that was safe.
8.2% of people aged 12 and older were classified as having a substance abuse disorder in the past year in the DFW area. Mental health and addiction go hand in hand for Mackenzie.
Substance use is a huge part of mental health. You don't realize that when you use substances that it takes over your mind, body, and soul.
Today, Mackenzie has been clean since 2020, and she's only looking forward. She's an alumni counselor for Nexus.
I tell my girls, I've been in this bed. I have slept in this bed. I have eaten this food. I have been through all the nonsense, that you have gone through in the storm, and I'm here and I did it, so I know it's possible.
And she has a message for anyone out there struggling with addiction and mental health.
It's okay to talk if you're not okay, and it's okay to not be okay, but do something about it for sure.
If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse issues, you can find a treatment center by going to findtreatment.gov. Next, the legendary race car driver with North Texas roots. We visit with him when he reunited with the iconic brand that helped him get his legendary start. He's a race car driver with North Texas roots. Johnny Rutherford recently returned to North Texas to celebrate a big anniversary.
Once a race car driver?
Oh, yeah.
Always a race car driver.
It sounds great. That's something, yeah.
Johnny Rutherford is 86, but he still loves the sound of starting a car and telling driver jokes.
What's it like to go fast? Well, it's better than going half-assed.
The illustrious IndyCar driver has a big milestone to celebrate.
I raced at Indianapolis 10 or 11 times before I hit the jackpot.
Johnny won his first Indianapolis 500 50 years ago, driving a McLaren.
I had run 200 miles an hour around the speedway. Flat-footed, never lifted.
To commemorate the anniversary of his big win, the team at McLaren had a surprise for Johnny.
The livery that you see on this car is our tribute to Johnny Rutherford's victory at the Indy 500 in 1974.
A custom car in that classic McLaren orange, complete with his name and number. In 50 years since his big win, Johnny says racing is still pretty simple.
Don't take any chances. Don't, try to be a hero or anything. Just win the race.
Coming up, the difference something as simple as a stuffed animal can make. I think we all know that a teddy bear can be a little bit more than a gift. And for some boys and girls that don't have a lot, they recently received a gift that was more than stuff and fluff.
A big, big teddy.
There's just something magical about handing a kid a teddy bear that's just for them.
How does he make you feel?
Today, these kids are even able to hug a life-size bear. Seeing the smiles can melt even the iciest of hearts. Especially when you find out these kids have all dealt with the experiences and trauma of homelessness. About half are homeless right now. But tonight, they'll have something special with them.
We have a book and a bear that will greet a homeless child on the bed when they walk into a shelter setting.
Bob Sweeney is the executive director of Dallas Life, a homeless recovery center. And he wrote this book, Teddy Cares.
Do you know this is like a big house?
Each kid gets a bear and a book. The book is written to help guide kids through their stay at a shelter.
Teddy says, I've been on the bed here waiting for you all day, so it gives that child an opportunity to have a friend, a comrade, someone to walk through the trauma with.
Dallas ISD says more than 3,900 kids will experience homelessness in a year. In Tarrant County's annual report, they found more than 100 kids under 18 experiencing homelessness in a given night.
There's 2.5 million homeless children in America. So we're doing our best at Teddy Cares to try to reach out to those kids that need us the most and love them one kiddo at a time.
Thank you so much for joining us on the CBS News Texas live stream. And don't forget to catch us on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.